Another new feature that we have brought into the software with this latest update is a new way in which you can go about creating a satin stitch. And it's utilizing the standard satin stitch. It does not work with the classic satin tool, but it does work with the regular satin tool. And the one thing that I like about this new input method is that it kind of gets us more into where you're really tracing designs. You know, one of the nice things about working with the fill stitch is that when you're utilizing the fill stitch, you kind of trace around the outside, the entire outside of the object. And, you know, you kind of go around the entire thing, and when you get back to the middle, I'm just kind of showing this example, you just right click and you have it selected. Oh, that's one of our new variegated threads. Which there's a video showing that new the way to use variegated threads in the software. But you know, it's kind of you trace around the outside, and really that's what digitizing is you're tracing out a design and then you're applying stitches to that shape that you create. And so this new input satin method allows us to just trace around an object to create a satin stitch, which is really neat. But to do it, you have to go into tools and general options. And I want to show you first how the satin tool has always kind of worked up until this point. And it still does work this way. It's your choice to change it. But what you do is you left mouse click and you define one side of an object, but then you have to right mouse click once you're done with the first side to let the software know that now you're going to be defining the second side of the object. So you have that extra step of right mouse clicking to tell the software that you're going to start working on the other side, and then once you right mouse click, it applies that satin stitch. But with this new method, which you go up into tools and general options, and you'll notice that the general options box has changed as well in this update. You have there used to be tabs across the top that said environment, machine, grid, digitizing, view, and auto based, but now they're on the left hand side with a nice new icon. It just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. So if we go ahead and click on this digitizing tab, you will see that right here there's this use single line for this satin stitch. So if I check this box and hit OK, now this satin tool has changed in the way that it works. So now you just come in and you left mouse click around and around where you used to have to, when you got down to this bottom point, you used to have to right mouse click right here but with this new way you don't have to right mouse click, you just keep going, which is really neat. Makes it pretty easy to work with. And like I said before, what you're doing now is you're actually tracing your design. I get back to this end and watch what happens now when I right mouse click. This is another reason why I really like this new method. I right mouse click and you see by my cursor there's this little black dot, and it's below it and to the right. And what the software is telling you it wants you to do now is it wants you to go in and put angle lines, and it wants you to tell it how do you want the angles to appear. So I'm going to left mouse click and drag across right here to create one angle line. I might come in here and create another one. I might start, really you're trying to guide it into these corners, in and out of the corners, so that it's a really smooth transition around the corners. And so let's say I want this one to kind of be right here. Let's say I have another one right in here that starts angling more to straight. And let's go ahead and at the bottom here drag one across. And now what I can do is right mouse click again, and it's actually going to put those stitches in, and it's going to keep those angle lines that I just chose. So you get the ability to really tell it how you want it to work with the angles at the same time. And as you can see, it's really, really quick and easy to work with those angles. And so I'm just going to grab the satin again. I'm just going to make a kind of a curved object here, and I might just go around here and close it up, right mouse click, and now it tells me to put in the angle. So I want to angle it straight across right here. Let's say right here I want it to be right there. Let's see, get it a little bit more straight. You can see how I'm kind of guiding it to flow around this corner, and it gets a little bit trickier when you get to these points as to how you want it to handle that. So you kind of have to play around a little bit and see how you want it to be. But let's just go ahead and try this out. And you can see how it kind of just flows around. But you might want to come in here and edit this one a little bit. Maybe you don't want it to be so harsh there. You can right mouse click after making a little adjustment, and just to kind of see the changes. So you do get that control, you get that ability to tell it where you want the angles to be before it actually applies it. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and select this one again. I'm just going to click, and I'm using the same method. I'm going to go around and define this again. Well, what happens if you're not sure how to set the angles? What will the software do for you? So let's go ahead, and we're just tracing this object around again. To get a curved line, I'm holding down the control button as I left mouse click. So let's say we right mouse click and we forget that we can go in there and click lines. Let's just right mouse click one more time, and you can see that the software applies stitches. Now if you go ahead and click on this, you can see that it applied angle lines in all these areas. But you can also see that it does a fairly good job going around these corners. There might be a couple things you might want to change. Let's say you might want to right click on this angle line and hit delete angle line, and you might just kind of throw this one over a little bit more, and you can kind of smooth it out a little bit. But it will also create those angles for you if you do not want to do it. You just have to right click a second time. So we hope that you enjoy it. I hope you see how this gets you more into a true tracing method for creating designs. And we hope that you enjoy this new feature.